the 30th Sunday of Ordinary Time. The Gospel today has little hidden parts that are very important for our reflection and for our prayer and for an awareness of who each of us is in God's eyes. We have a man whose name is Bartimaeus. 3 times in the Gospel, he is referred to as blind man. So he is defined by an accidental, an adjective, a descriptive, a category. Okay, that's one thing we'll share. The other thing is he is separate because of a physical disability, but it's a definition that keeps him on the curb and away from people, to have a disfigurement, a leprosy, or a physical impediment. If you're not physically perfect, it must have been because of sin. There's something wrong. And so we have to keep our distance from you and you from us. So you are on the curb, Bartimaeus, blind man, but you can hear. And you hear that Jesus is passing by. You have heard of him. Other people have spoken to him, but of course from a safe distance. And you call out, Bartimaeus, you call out to Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me, because I am not only blind, but I am isolated. I am diminished. And Jesus says a fantastic thing to him. He calls him and says, what do you want me to do for you? Well, obviously Jesus knows, because he can tell that Bartimaeus is a person who is blind. He asks Bartimaeus to claim his truth. And he doesn't say, Jesus, because I am a blind man, I need to be forgiven. I need to be healed. What I want you to do for me is that I might not only see, but I can be normal. I can be a part of life. And before he jumps up, he throws away the cloak. Excuse me, the cloak of disfigurement, the cloak of isolation, the cloak of confinement, of naming. And he puts that aside. And Jesus gives him his sight back. And with that sight, he follows Jesus. Okay, what is all that about? It's about dignity, nobility, honor. Because he is undignified. Dignus, the Latin word for worthy. He is not worthy to be anything but defined by an adjective. His dignity is that he is a man who happens to be blind. But he has been defined by others, and so he has been defined in his own mind that he is nothing but blind. And Jesus changes him from being defined by a physical disability, by an indignity, by an unseparation. He didn't say that he followed Jesus, but he picked up his cloak. He left his cloak as a sign that he had put aside unworthiness, worthness. And so Jesus asks him not just to receive physical sight, but to receive a vision of yourself which is not confined by a definition, not confined by what other people name you to be. I give you your name, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus. I give you your worthiness because you had faith in me, and I give you your worthiness. I give you your dignity. And you have to see that in yourself. You've had a long time, Bartimaeus, of being defined by yourself because of other people's definition of you. And you sprung up. 3 times, the gospel says, he was a blind man. He goes off as a Jesus man, as a man of himself, of a man who has his worthiness because of his being created again by his faith in Jesus. And so the Mark's gospel, it's at the end of that chapter, and we celebrate the dignity that Jesus gives us. No matter what other names we give ourselves, if it's not that our worthiness comes from him, then our faith hasn't saved us. Not just saved us from hell, but saved us from the confinement of sitting on the curb away from people, indolent, inactive, begging, receiving, not doing, hiding within the cloak of other people's definition. So it's a freeing gospel for us. We receive our dignity. And right before the Eucharist is shared with the community, we say, Lord, I am not worthy. Comma, conjunction, coordinating conjunction, but you say the word. Receive your sight of who you are. You have a dignity, you have a worth. Of yourselves you say you're not worthy. Yes, your worthiness is not from your works. Your works come from your worth that he gives you. So, we all may be blinded by self-negativity or what other people think of us. We pray and we receive. What does he say about you? What name does he give you? And how does that conflict with adjectives you might give yourself? We receive again who he says we are. And then he says, go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Walk your way. Put aside your cloak of negativity.